Today we're going to be painting a wall behind me. Keep watching the video and we'll show you how to do that. Hey, what's up guys? It's Jeff Lepard from doitallceiling.com. Today we're going to be painting this wall behind me. What actually it is it's an entrance to a store for the customer. So what we're going to do is we're just going to be painting this purple. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you the steps needed to paint this wall when you have a finished wall on each side and a finished ceiling and a couple of obstructions such as a brand new exit sign. So keep watching the video and we're going to show you just how to do that. So for the first step, we're going to be taping up the brand new exit sign using painter's tape. That's that green tape that you can get at your local department store. So I'm going to be starting off with that. I'm just going to have to get the ladder and tape that up. I don't have to tape the door frames because the door frames are actually going to be painted at a later stage. And I'm not going to be taping the ceiling or the walls. Reason is, some amateurs that actually use painter's tape along the wall and the ceiling, when you do that, you don't get a complete even line. So sometimes you can always look and see that painter's tape was used because you have a straight edge and a different straight edge. It doesn't look very natural. So what you actually need to do is use a nice cutting brush, so that will actually give it that natural look. So painter's tape along the walls and the ceiling, I don't recommend it. It just doesn't look right. Door frames, that's fine. If you're not very good with cutting door frames, that's fine. If your taping is really good, then there's nothing wrong with that. But for this, we're just going to tape up the exit sign. It's easy to do, and we're just going to cut along the door frame and the wall and the ceiling. Okay, so we got our painter's tape in our hand. We're going to be taping this exit sign. So to do that, we're just going to do tape around the edges. Just be very careful not to tape the wall, and then we're okay to start our cuts. Okay, for the first cut, we don't have to worry too much about being precise because we actually have the painter's tape protecting the exit sign. So what we're using is just a 3.5 inch cuttings brush, painter's cutting brush, and we're just going to use a little bit of paint, and we're just going to go ahead and just stroke that along the side there about 3 inches out, because when the roller goes, we don't want to make sure we don't hit it with the roller. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut all the way around here. And then we'll begin our cuts along the wall. We'll let that dry and we'll be doing another coat. Okay, so now we're going to start the cuts along the door frame. We don't have to worry about hitting the door frame so much because later on at a later stage they're going to be painting the door frame. So what we do is just get a little bit of paint on there. And the idea is just, this is the correct way to hold the brush. A lot of people hold the brush like this. That's incorrect. You won't have any control over it. So what you actually want to do is almost like you're holding a large pencil, except you're going to use your fingers. It doesn't really matter which way you do it, just whatever is comfortable for you. I find that this way works the best for me. So what you're going to do is just come up, and you're going to push the brush against the wall a little bit, just so you get a bit of an angle, flex the bristles, and then as you
bring the brush down, it just kind of goes right down against the side of the frame. And you don't have to worry about any tape, and you get a nice straight cut. Okay, so now we're gonna cut this edge of the wall that's gonna be purple. We're trying to avoid getting paint on this wall, which is the finished black. So we're just gonna go ahead and cut along here very carefully, the edge. Same technique as the door frame, just gonna push a little bit of pressure down. If you notice you have too much paint on the brush, just wipe it on the wall. And if you don't, then you're okay to start the cuts. You just wanna press the brush in as it gets a little closer to the edge of the wall. Just like that. Not too much pressure, just a little bit of pressure. And then you can fill in here. Just like that. Okay, so now we're ready to do the cuts along the ceiling and the wall. The same rules apply. We just want to glide the brush just below the ceiling line. So just watch as I do that. Put a little bit of pressure where the top of the bristles meet and just touch the ceiling as we go across. And then fill in about 3 inches below. Do that and repeat all the way down. If you leave a little bit too low, you can just go over the stroke again, just like that. Okay, so we're finished the second coat of cuts along the ceiling wall, along the door frame, the exit side, and everything else. So we're ready to roll the paint on for the first coat. That's going to dry, and then we'll apply a second coat. Just going to get a little bit of paint on the roller. I'm going to start right up here. So what you got to do is the first couple of rolls, you want to actually spread the paint out. There's a few different ways that painters do this. So some of them will argue that their way's better, but in theory, many different ways do work. I like to kind of first start off as an X pattern, and then go back over, and then go up and down, moving the roller a few inches at a time, just to spread the paint out, and to make sure that you get sufficient coverage. And that will also eliminate roller lines and stuff from the paint being too heavy in certain areas or not. So what we do is take another dip here, and I'll show you. We start up here, spread the paint down in a little bit of a cross motion. We're going to go straight up and back down over the overlap of the other paint. So now that I've spread the paint along the wall, I can see where I stopped rolling here. So I'm going to go back here and start back rolling, blending in the new part with the old part, which would get rid of the seam, any kind of paint that's too heavy on one end or light on the other, and just continue to roll right up to where I'm stopping. Depending on the height of your walls, depends on how many feet you can go across width-wise. If you have shorter ceilings, you can get a lot more coverage. You can get more feet going lengthwise. The higher the ceiling is, the less feet that you're going to go across. Just be careful not to make the roller touch the wall, because then you'll have to touch up the wall with the black paint. Overlapping the rolls. Just making sure that you get the roller to the top and bottom where you've cut without hitting the ceiling. Here we go. And we'll let that dry for the first coat. Okay, so now we're ready to do the second coat. Just as the first coat, we're just going to overlap the paint. Okay guys, that's it. This job's now complete. Just want to thank you for watching our video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like our video, share our video, and we'll see you next time on the next video from dudeallceiling.com. Thanks a lot. Bye.